All right, guys. So, like I was telling you guys, this discussion is about educational technology and what it's like from like a student's perspective. All right. I've already talked to Mr. Browning about what it's like from admin and what it's like from like a principal's point of view. I talked to Ms. Hassler to see what it was kind of like at the high school point of view because during COVID, she was at Downey High School, so we kind of got to see what it was like when everyone was sent home at the high school and we had to figure out how to get devices to students. In 2020, when the pandemic started, you guys were all in fifth grade, correct? You guys were in fifth grade when that half year got split and you guys were all sent home in the middle of the school year. So my first question was, when you guys were sent home, did you guys already have your own personal one-to-one device?
Yes.
And you guys were all using iPads at that time already? All right, was the transition period for you guys when, as like a fifth grader, from being in a traditional school setting, like being in class, having a teacher, was it completely different for you guys when you guys were sent home? Does anybody want to share their experience of what it was like being sent home and having structure? As a fifth grader, you have 100% structure from your teacher, right? In middle school, we give you guys a little bit more independence. But as a fifth grader, being sent home, what was that like? Just being 100% independent of your education. Carmen.
I had a lot of questions for my teachers,
You,
but I couldn't ask them on Zoom.
so you had a lot of questions for your teachers and you couldn't ask them on Zoom.
Well, we didn't have Zoom. We just had yeah, we had Zoom.
So you guys were you guys like given packets and said pretty much like good luck?
Yeah,
We had a Zoom meeting.
You guys had Zoom meetings?
Or at least my teacher gave.
Because I was a substitute here when it happened, and we were told we were going to be gone for 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks was what we were told, right? And I was subbing, so I was in the office printing out all those packets. So teachers were sending us 2 weeks worth of lessons. We were printing them, sending them out to all the classes, so students had stuff to work on, right? Was that the same in elementary school?
Yeah.
All right.
They had the packets prepared beforehand.
Okay, so they had the pack. So you guys felt like, was it well prepared? Do you think your teachers were ready for all that?
No. They were they gave it to us a few weeks before we actually went home.
Oh, so
They gave my teacher. She gave it to us the day we went home.
okay, so were you in school in Downey? Okay, that's crazy how some teachers got it like the day of, some got a few weeks before. The day of? All right, so how do you feel that year in fifth grade when you guys were learning online? Were a lot of teachers using like different apps or technology tools to like help teach? What were some of like your favorite tools that they used? Or what tools were successful during fifth grade that you guys remember? I know it's like 3-4 years ago. Go for it.
Mine used Google Classroom.
So Google Classroom. What were some other forms like educational tools that were being used?
We used Canvas.
Kami. So we have Kami, Google Classroom. What else was being used? Do you guys feel like it was just a lot of different like ed tech tools thrown at you all at once? And you guys, as a fifth grader, you probably don't know what the best mode of education is for you guys. So as a sixth grader, that first semester, you pretty much had your whole year online. That first semester, it was all Zoom school. And I was student teaching during that time. So I had a couple of you guys when I was student teaching. Personally, my credential program didn't really prepare me for that, right? Like throughout the whole credential program, we're taught to teach in front of a classroom like this. I'm not taught to teach in front of a camera. So I was still learning on the go, and I'm sure a lot of your teachers were learning on the go as well. I don't think it was the best possible, I was not the best possible teacher at that time. I'm sure your other teachers felt like they weren't the best possible teachers at that time. Carmen Quinones. Hey y'all, hurry it up, turn in your paperwork and kick rocks. Is it your DC paperwork? Oh my goodness. Yeah, Carmen, go outside. No, I didn't pause the video.
Don't pause it.
Are you gonna edit all these parts out?
No, I'm just gonna roll with it. No. All right, so I felt like I wasn't the best teacher. Halfway through the year, we switched over to like a hybrid learning. And that hybrid learning, it had us teachers in front of the classroom, and we were also teaching students online. Raise your hand if you guys were part of like the online portion still when we came back. How effective was that to be online while there were still students in class? It wasn't effective at all. How do you think teachers could have improved on that?
It's because they would forget that we were on Zoom.
We would forget about you guys on Zoom. To be honest, that's one thing I would forget about my students in the class. Because I was so used to teaching in front of the camera, because we had done it for a whole semester, that I would be here teaching, and then I forget there was like 10 other kids in class. So it was very awkward. It was super clunky. It was less than ideal. After student teaching that first semester, I was a long-term sub, and I was filling in for Miss Villanueva. So I think some of you guys had her for 6th grade, and I was filling in for that second semester. She's pregnant, having her baby. And it was hard for a teacher to focus on students on screen and in person. How do you guys feel like Stauffer handled the technological aspect of online learning during 6th grade? So us as teachers as a whole, as a staff, how do you guys feel like we did? And you guys could be honest. If you think we sucked and we were terrible, I want you guys to be honest. This is your time to provide that feedback, because although I told you guys that this is like for an assignment, I'm also going to be taking that feedback. And you know, I'm one of the tech coaches on campus. I'm taking this and I'm going to be learning how we can improve technology on campus. Because I feel with some teachers, we're like in the Stone Age. I'm not going to call out any teachers, but they probably don't even know how to use their laptop. All right? So how can we improve as a staff here at Stauffer? All right, I'll move on to the next question. Were there some teachers that performed better than others with the online aspect of learning? Yes. What were some of the things that those teachers did well that you thought were successful? Alexis?
Had them to answer all their questions.
They had time to answer all your questions. So it's just more taking the time and focus on giving you guys that attention as opposed to actually like knowing how to use the technology. Did you guys have any teachers online that were just like killing it and still getting all their lessons done? And it seemed like they were like doing it for years. And do you think it's just a part of the tech skills that they had, or do you think it's just being a good teacher? Tech skills. Do you think tech skills during that time helped at all? Like, do you think a teacher with 0 tech skills could have still been a good teacher online? There's some aspects of like teaching online and using technology where we have to decide, is the technology just there for the sake of technology, or is it enhancing the lesson? Is it making the lesson better? Do you feel that some teachers use technology just for the sake of using technology? What are some classes where you feel like, or what are some activities where you guys are using technology just for the sake of technology? Are there some activities that you could think off the top of your head? This is supposed to be a class discussion, guys. So I would appreciate some feedback. So what are some what are some assignments where you feel like the technology is kind of useless, right? So if you can do an assignment on paper, do you think it's beneficial to do it on paper? Or do you think we just use technology sometimes for the sake of using technology? But what are some of those assignments?
Does it have to be specifically the core classes, or can else?
Yeah, so answering some questions, what would you say?
Does it have to be specifically for core classes?
No, it could be literally any
Oh,
class.
then I can think of one off the top of my head.
Go
It's
for it.
Sometimes when Miss Clark is absent, she would give us these word searches that
Uh-huh.
were on Canvas. I felt like those were kind of useless. We could have just had those on paper or something.
And how are you guys doing those word searches on Canvas?
We had to use like the little note taker guide on Canvas to circle the words, or we'd have to screenshot it to do the word search.
And do you guys use like the little annotation tool to like highlight your words and submit? Yeah, so stuff like that. It's using technology just for the sake of using technology. It's saying like, look, we're using it, right? It kind of makes us look better, but is it really improving our teaching at all? What are some other activities where you think we're just using technology just for the sake of using technology? Because I know there's a couple in my head, but I want to see what you guys could think of. Because I know last year I did it a lot, like our Cornell notes. I wasn't really working out of those note-taking guides we have in history. Everything was digital. And I would tell you guys, go online and do your Cornell notes. But is that really effective for you guys? Or what's the difference between doing it online or doing it on paper? This year, I'm giving you guys the option to decide whatever you guys like most. But I don't want to just use technology just for the sake of technology. What's up?
I feel like doing it on paper is better, but it's easier to get lost.
Doing it on paper is better, but easier to get lost? How so?
Because like people just stuff things in the backpack.
Just stuffing things in your... Oh, so like physically losing your work.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Do you... So...
And then when you do it on your iPad, sometimes your work would erase.
Yeah.
You-
Sometimes the work erases on the iPad.
Yeah, I've come across that problem a lot, and that's one reason why it's like when we're annotating the DBQs, right? What's the best way to save it? Where our stuff won't get deleted. I tell some students, why don't you just screenshot? But then it's like when you submit your work, if it's not there, you have to go through and redo all that work. So I don't think technology is perfect. Sometimes those DBQs, it's easier to do it on paper, right? We can annotate it and stuff like that. But I also don't know how to use a printer. So I also, like DBQs, that's like 10 pages for one person. There's 30 students, that's like 300 pages. I have to pay for paper. I'm not gonna go do that. All right, so what were some of the downfalls of your online learning process? Where did we fail as a staff? So when we were online, where did you think some of your teachers failed during COVID?
It was just easy to skip class. You could say your Wi-Fi wasn't working, and they wouldn't even care.
So using the excuse that your Wi-Fi wasn't working,
That's what I would do.
that's what you do?
Yeah.
And would you do your work on your own, or you just wouldn't do it at
I
all?
didn't do it at all.
Okay. So do you feel like COVID kind of made you fall behind?
Yeah.
All right, what were some other downfalls? So it was kind of like the lack of accountability. Now that you're in class in person, I could hold you accountable. What were some of our other failures?
It failed at like explaining. Like sometimes they would give you like a Cami thingy and then they wouldn't explain it at all.
Yeah, they would just tell you like, do this assignment on Cami, good luck. So it was lack of instruction, lack of really giving directions on what we want. Do you feel like that's improved since being back in person?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel like some teachers have maybe regressed a little bit from being online or become worse teachers?
I think better teachers.
So better teachers, like we've learned more?
Yeah.
All right. So as seventh graders, that was the first year. You guys were all, completely back in person. But the option of being on the online cohort was still there. Raise your hand if you guys were online last year. Was anybody in that online class? You were on the online class? What was that experience like being on the online class?
I didn't get to come back with everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
This was my first year back, and I had classes, but I guess you couldn't really get more help if you really needed it because they were all busy with their other classes in person.
Mm-hmm. So did you feel like kind of like a disconnect from being online and then still knowing everyone else is in person? Yeah, because the 7th grade online class was the only class I didn't teach. I taught the 6th grade and I taught the 8th grade portion of history. So I know how those classes went, and personally, that was the first time I felt like a successful online teacher because we had done it already for 2 years, that third year. I also think it was the mix of having the same group of kids going from class to class to class is different here. In person, you guys all go to your own classes. You guys all have your separate schedules. So there was a sense of community in that online class. Did you feel that with the 7th grade group?
Yeah, because we all had the same classes together.
Yeah, it's like literally you guys spent the whole day together. And I thought that was a really dope experience. And I was talking to Mr. Browning to see like, can we keep that same group of 6th graders in every single class together this year as 7th graders to see how they do? And I think their achievement probably would have been a lot higher. I feel like the level of learning was higher in those classes just because we had a sense of community in that class. There are some classes I'm sure you guys go to where do you feel like there's any sense of community? Are there some classes where you feel like it's a job, you just hop in, clock in, and then clock out when the bell rings? All right, we're not calling out teachers out.
Miss everyone.
Hey, relax, relax. Yeah, I'm sure there are. When I was in school, there were some teachers I absolutely hated, and I would just sit there and just stay in my own little world, take my notes, and just go home. Even now in grad school, like, I absolutely hate going to class. The fact that my classes are all online now is absolutely amazing. I never have to step foot on campus. It's the best thing ever. This class right here that I'm doing this lesson for, I have not met anyone in that class this semester. Everything's online. I do it whenever I want. It's sweet, right? Do you feel like that aspect of learning would be better for you guys? Why not? You procrastinate a lot? Do you think if you, so for example, this class, we have weekly deadlines. You have a set of assignments, you have, everything needs to be done, I think it's by Sunday night. So like, for example, this assignment needs to be done Sunday night. We have the whole week from Monday to Sunday to get it done. Do you feel like having that structure would help? Or you would wait till Saturday night to do it all? All right. Lazy. Do you guys like having the structure and the accountability of being back in school? Raise your hand if you guys would like never having to step foot on campus and being able to do everything on your own whenever you wanted. Would you actually do it?
Yeah.
You would?
Yeah.
You wouldn't? Sometimes I wonder if I would. With this class, this is my first completely online class where it's like the professor's there. The professor looks at all our work. He grades everything. But it's like, well, I had him before, so I know who he is. But it's like I never meet him on a weekly basis. If I want to go to office hours, I could, but I really don't need to. But it's very little structure on the student aspect. All right. So let's see what other questions I have. Oh, how was your experience in the 7th grade online group different from like being in 6th grade? Did you feel like a difference on that online class? Sorry, you're the only one in the class, so I have to direct that question right to you.
Well, the teachers, like, I had a psychology classes in math, and, like, she knew how to, like, use the tools on Zoom and, like, other stuff better than someone else being in 6th grade.
So before having, if you gotta go outside to cough, you can cough, dude. I don't want you choking and dying in here. So when you guys were in 5th grade and in 6th grade, every teacher had to be online, but not every teacher had the set of skills to be successful online. Last year when we had that online portion, we were picking and choosing which teachers would be successful for that online stuff. That's why I decided to take 2 of the classes. None of the other history teachers wanted to do it. Personally, like, I would like to think I'm pretty good with technology, so you don't think so?
No, I'm just playing.
Those are fighting words.
I'm sorry.
So last year it was more successful because we put the correct teachers in place to help you guys be successful. All right, those of you guys in person, did some teachers completely take the idea of technology in the classroom and just throw it away? Are there some teachers that you guys have today that never use technology? Do you guys think that's beneficial to your guys' education to never use technology in the classroom? Sometimes. Why sometimes?
Because sometimes the technology could actually be helpful.
Sometimes the tech. And what type of assignments could it be helpful in? If you have any examples.
Let's say taking notes. If you were to do it on paper, then you would have to bring the book, or you would have to like do it all as soon as you come back. But if you had like the notes online, then you could technically do it at home.
That's true. That's one thing I enjoyed about the online. It kind of forced us to get rid of textbooks. You guys notice if you're in my history class, we have not touched the textbook really once. I don't even have a class set of textbooks. What's the point of having 30 textbooks that's just going to collect dust and take space if we could have it digitally, right? If we could find it online and we don't have to spend thousands of dollars on a class set of textbooks, why are we going to spend the money? We can spend the money elsewhere. Which one of you guys said that some teachers never use technology in the class? Did anybody raise their hand for that? Or for the most part, most teachers are using it? Are they using it? Is it beneficial to your guys' education how they're using it? This or when you guys were in 7th grade? So we're still on last year. Yeah, a little bit. All right, so from 6th grade to 7th grade, did you guys see an improvement in your teachers' knowledge in educational technology? Did you see their skills grow a little bit? All right, so now we're in 8th grade. You guys are here. We're finally in 8th grade. You guys are about to, like 2 months away from promotion. Are you guys excited for that?
I'll be old like you.
You're going to be old like me? What's with you today? Relax, dude. There's no longer that online portion of like classes, right? Everyone's in person. There's no more like mask mandate. You know, it's optional if you want to do it. So finally, school is starting to feel back to normal a little bit. The district gave all teachers Apple laptops, right? And part of the district rollout of like the laptops and the iPads is that they're finally pushing training in how to use these devices in the classroom. Do you think it's beneficial for teachers to have the training and all this 3 years after a pandemic? If that pandemic did happen again, it would help. Do you feel like school districts are more proactive or reactive to events like this? Do you guys know the difference between proactive and reactive? Proactive is you're setting in place, you know, policies and trainings. If something happens, you're ready for it. Reactive is you're reacting to what's happening. So do you feel like our school district was proactive or reactive? Reactive. Yeah, because it's 3 years later and we're barely getting the training now. Like I told you guys, I'm one of the tech leads on campus. And one thing that really annoys me is going to meetings with every single teacher. That's one of the things I hate the most because we get some grumpy teachers on campus that just push back everything we're trying to do. I've dealt with extreme pushback from a lot of the veteran teachers here. So some of the teachers that have been here forever, a good teacher is going to be a good teacher no matter what. All right? And I firmly believe you could be a great teacher and never use technology. But as time goes on, technology is becoming more and more important in your guys' life. And I think it's important for even those great teachers to learn how to use it. In 2023, technology is the norm for students. You all relied on technology in your educational journey the past 3 years. At Stauffer, we want to prepare our students to be ready for the future and what it holds. And that's why some of you guys, I taught you guys how to use ChatGPT for our debate. And ChatGPT is a huge topic of discussion in some of my classes and in the world of academia right now. Because where do we draw the line at artificial intelligence, to submit assignments, right? How many of you guys use that for your debate? Raise your hand. Only 2 of you, 3 of you guys. Did you guys use it how I taught you, or did you guys take the easy way out? All right, how did I teach you guys how to use it?
To use it as like a start, and then go on our own to find more information about that.
Yeah, so ChatGPT should be used kind of like Wikipedia is, right? You ask it a question, it gives you general information, and then you find sources to kind of back that up, right? Just like if you type in something on Wikipedia, it gives you a whole background, right? But now this intelligence is doing it on its own. I think I just saw a study that the new edition or the new update of ChatGPT, it's like Chat 4.0, has a 90% passing rate at the bar exam. So to get into law school, that online processor can now pass the test to get into law school. That's how smart it's getting. Just a few months ago, it was only a 10% passing rate. So this online tool is learning and getting smarter and smarter. So I think it's important for you guys to learn how to use technology because it's a beautiful tool, but you have to also know how to use it responsibly. So do you think your time at Stauffer has helped build your technological skills over the 3 years you guys were here? Did you think your technology skills grew, or do you think they deteriorated? Grew? Do you guys all agree that your tech skills grew? I find your responses right now a bit of a surprise because personally, prior to speaking to you guys, I feel like a lot of your skills deteriorate and get worse your time here. Because in elementary school, we build you guys up with all these skills. So you guys have a tool belt of all these apps you know how to use once you get to 6th grade. But a lot of the middle school teachers push back on technology. So a lot of that knowledge you guys gained in elementary school, you slowly start to lose it. By the time you get to your freshman year, all those skills are gone. So do you guys still feel like you have those tools you gained in elementary school?
Very little.
Very little. So now you guys are just going back on what you just answered?
Yep.
All right, so let me ask that question again. Do you think Stauffer Middle School has really helped build your technology skills? If you're being completely honest. And I want you guys to be honest in this discussion. No? How can we improve on building those skills? What would you guys like to see your teachers do more in the class? You guys are a huge help today.
You're welcome.
All right, I'm going to move on to the next question then. All right, so how confident do you guys feel to use technology in an educational setting? On a scale of 1 to 10.
4.
7, 4, 6. So if we were to grade that on a scale, a 4 is an F, a 6 is a D, 7's a C. So do you guys feel like that's where we're at on a scale with our confident level in technology? All right, see, that's a problem because probably when you left 5th grade, it was probably at like an 8 or 9, right? All right, do you feel creative? Do you feel more creative with technology or with paper?
Paper.
So when we give you guys projects, if we give you a set of paper and tell you, here are the instructions, complete this project, you guys would rather have it on paper? Let me see a show of hands. Raise your hand if you'd rather have it on paper. Raise your hands if you'd rather do it online. All right, that's a big help because in history, we're about to start a project.
No! My bad. Ask the question again.
Well, we're doing it online.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're doing it online whether you guys like it or not. I'm not giving you guys a choice now. Do you guys have a list of applications you know, like what to use, when to use them? So if a teacher tells you like, all right, these are my expectations for a particular project. Do you guys have a list of apps you know what to use and how to use them? Gale, that's a database, not an app. But like on the self-service, you know how there's a list of applications. Let's say we want you to like record a podcast. Would you guys be able to like figure out how to do that? Huh? Yep. Yeah, camera. Or maybe like GarageBand and stuff like that. What if we told you like record like your own commercial on history or something like that? Canva, yeah. Canva's a good tool. What'd you say?
Nothing.
All right. Do you think technology enhances your education here at Stauffer? Do you think technology enhances your education, makes your education better? No? Why not?
I don't like it.
Because you don't like technology? So you think, how am I going to frame this question? So you don't like technology. Do you think you would be better off if we never used technology in the classroom?
I think in like some classes it's better to use it, but in others it's like useless most of the time.
Which classes is useless?
Like in English we could do everything on paper. We don't really use the iPad.
True. Do you think it's easier to annotate like a document on paper, or if you had like your iPad with your pencil and just do it?
Paper in my opinion.
If you guys had Apple Pencils, do you think it would be easier on the iPad?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's one thing I've been pushing for, to get all students to have an Apple Pencil, but it's like $100 device, and y'all are irresponsible. Y'all would lose them. What's up?
I guess technology like allows me to cheat.
Technology. So technology allows you to cheat easier. I don't disagree with you. Part of my undergrad, I had an Apple Watch that I would use. I know, my goodness. I would put my study guides on there. And I would just like study and then take my test. Right?
Mister, you're
Huh?
admitting to this?
No. I'm being honest. I'm being transparent with you.
Why you're-
Technology does make it easier to cheat, right? But it takes a person to be, I guess, more responsible than that, right? So you have to have that self-discipline to know when it's not the time to do it.
Like I just like I share my photos and I just like do equations and then I just put it in there.
So the ability to split your screen and the knowledge on how to split screen and, you know, maybe have Desmos up or something like I don't even know what Desmos is, but. Yeah, so we have Apple Classroom where we can monitor your screens and I can see literally everything you guys are doing. But I feel like in a sense that's kind of like an invasion of your privacy but also that's not your personal property at the same time. But you also have to give it back at the end of the year.
But you trust us with the responsibility.
You don't own it.
But like at this time, we have possession of it.
You have possession of it, but you do not own it.
But we're using it.
Yeah, you're using it, but you have to use it responsibly. And cheating on a test is not using it responsibly.
Oh, with technology, you have that ability.
With technology, you have that ability. So do you think we should implement like a firewall into the devices to like prohibit, like technically there's an app called Jamp Teacher where I can push out an app to all you guys and that's the only app where you guys are able to use and I could literally delete all the other apps from your laptop. Or not from your laptop, from your iPad. So let's say we have a test on Canvas, right? I push out the test on Canvas and it'll wipe clean everything else. So the only icon that pops up on your iPad would be Canvas. Would you appreciate if we use that?
No, I would not.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you could pull out your phone, but, you know, we have a no phone policy on campus, right? That's crazy because you guys never listen. All right. Final thoughts on technology. Do you guys have any questions or any concerns or anything that you guys want to share about your technological journey throughout Stauffer or how we can improve, what I could improve as a teacher? What can I do better to improve your education with technology? Carmen, what did you spill? Why are you always spilling stuff? Pasta, water, you're throwing stuffed animals. Girl, get it together. I'm going to have to submit this, and I have to keep talking to you.
Continue with your discussion.
All right. Any final thoughts on technology that you guys would like to share? It's useful? Wow. Such great feedback. What's up? Oh. Anyone? You guys are having me drown in this assignment.
Mister.
I know. I picked this Avid class because I thought y'all was going to be able to help me. Girl, I recorded for 32 minutes, but it's 32 minutes of just me talking to you. It's supposed to be a discussion. Yes, you did. Thank you. Well, I would ask questions, and I'm like, okay, cool. Next question. No one's answering. You guys use your...
Yeah, so we knew what we were gonna say.
So I could be prepared.
You just told us, I'll have a list of questions. You guys will answer them tomorrow.
Well, I didn't write the question until last night. That's...
Yeah, that is.
Well, I didn't find out until last night that I could submit this class for the assignment. I was waiting for my professor to reply. So once he told me, I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to write the questions and figure it out.
Yeah, we got extra credit, right?
Extra credit for that?
Mister!
At least you have.
Extra credit if I heard you participate.
Oh, okay.
I said.
Yep. Yep. So if I heard you participate, yes, extra credit. If I did not hear you participate once, no extra credit. All right, those of you guys that participated, thank you. I appreciate you guys. This is the most you guys have talked all period.
Huh?
Yes. Well, yeah, what? We could.
Well, you guys could have talked the whole time, fool.
But you said to be quiet.
I didn't tell you be quiet.
You did.
Not once did I say be quiet.
In the beginning.
I said it's a discussion.
In the
We have to discuss.
Okay, we did discuss.
Yeah, we are.
Oh.
All right. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate your limited feedback. Hopefully, I get full credit since y'all didn't help much. All right. Peace, y'all.